Okay, it's preparing, and I believe let's see here. We are live. I'm going to share it on my page. Awesome. Okay, are you ready? Awesome. And you are muted too.
Yeah, that's on purpose. I think I had to say something to Anthony. I didn't want to be all in.
No problem. All righty. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Meagan Pinkney, and I am founder and CEO of Joseph's Ministry, LLC. And we are back again for another amazing interview with one of our amazing clients to, again, celebrate our 10-year anniversary. We have been having so much fun just reminiscing and just thinking back on how things were, not only for Joseph's ministry, but also for our clients. So we're here with a personal friend, but also a client, Miss Tara Payne. How are you doing, Tara?
Hey, I'm good. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Of course, I am doing amazing. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to just mark this time with us. It really means a lot to me. But I want people to hear your story and where were you when we first got started? So I believe we started back in 2018, 2019, actually
hmm
with book coaching. So
hmm
let's just talk about that, how it started for you personally. Where were you mentally, physically? Where were you at that time?
Let's see. So 2019, I was a new mom. My daughter was about 2 or 3. But actually in 2018, we had a get together at my house, you and myself and another friend of ours. And we went around the table and kind of told, the things that we were believing in God for. And one of them for me was a book. It may have even been before that because I hadn't had my daughter then. Um, so
It's
it had to be before that, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, then in 2019, the beginning of 2019, I believe, you called me because I said, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And he called me and said, okay, the Lord said it's time. And I said, okay. I was scared. I was like, until I was like, okay, I can do this. And I had no clue
Yeah.
where to start, what to do. I knew what I wanted to write about. But I just was like, well, how do I start? And book coaching was so instrumental in helping me to know how to tell my story, in what format, even pick how many chapters, and to help me to know where to start because I had a collection of writings. These writings, a lot of them came from my journal, and I didn't realize I was compiling stuff that was going in the book. But yeah, book coaching was very instrumental.
Wow. Yeah, I can remember us having that meeting in your kitchen.
hmm
And little did I know I had anything to do with helping you produce that. And it's so cool to think back then and to see where we are now. And we'll get to, what's going on right now. But yeah, for you it was book coaching. And that's
Yeah.
something that we absolutely love to do, to see things come together and to shape, to get that outline, to get your thoughts together and really shape it into a book. And we'll talk about When Hope Speaks, which is the name of your book. But I remember I think it was our very last coaching session. And it was kind of like right before we were supposed to be publishing. And it was just like, and I was like, Ty, what's going on? Are we ready? Were we not ready? He was like, look,
Uh,
what we
I
do.
was at a standstill. And I was like, we had sent the book to the editor when we got I'm not sure what it's called, the first draft back. And then I just was like, I couldn't look at it anymore. And so the Holy Spirit said for me to have my sister read it. And so I was like, Melissa, please read this. I said, I can't continue I don't know what's wrong. And she read it and she came back with tears in her eyes. And she said, I know why you can't read it because the pain is still so fresh. Um, But she said it's really good. She couldn't even finish reading it, but she was like, "That's why." And then from that moment on, it was like, "Okay, let's go." I couldn't figure out what's this block.
Man, and I can remember, us having that conversation, but tell the people what the content of the book, what part of your life has been written in this When Hope Speaks book.
So the part of my life that was written in this book. This book is about my journey to becoming a mother, and it was a 7 year long journey. I had no clue when I was writing. What I was writing in my journal was the times that I have, different recurring miscarriages and different experiences that I've had, and the pain and everything that I felt, frustration and mad at God and just everything I had written down. But that became, and that experience became this book, which has, it's really so interesting to me that God can turn your pain into purpose. And people who don't even know me have reached out and said, "My friend sent me your book." And I'm so grateful that I'm not alone. And that was my prayer. I was like, Lord, I felt so alone going through that. And I have a bunch of friends and family that I know love me. But I just felt like there was a way I could talk to. So anyway, this book is such a blessing to be able to help other people who have traversed different, similar journeys.
No, absolutely. And again, we're friends. So
Mhm.
I've walked, maybe not the entire 7 years. I'm not sure where I came
I
in.
think you have been, maybe.
Maybe it was.
Hmm.
So I understand, us praying and believing God,
Ooh,
and she's here now. Asha's here now, doing
yes.
well. I mean, it's such a blessing to be on the other side of it. But the point is for you writing the book is to go back and to help other people who are experiencing the same situation and feelings that you felt. So when you were writing the book and we finally got it published, um, and Asha was here already, how did you feel then? How did you feel? Did you feel accomplished? Did you feel like, okay, that's done, on to the next? Or what were your thoughts during that time?
I was just so excited that she would have like a chronicle of our story, and having her come because I wanted her to know how special, that she was. Like you said, how many prayers we prayed and how much we fasted. And I mean, this was a whole community effort. But I was like, this is your story. Whenever she was old enough to talk, like 3, I was like, baby, we wrote a book about you. This is your story. But I was excited. I was very proud of myself and my husband. And also just was like, okay, I wrote a book. Okay, that's great. But then it was just like, wait a minute, you got to tell people about the book.
And you
So
just mentioned something, and something that's so unique about your book, that your husband has a chapter, from
yes.
his point of view. So how did that? I know he's not here now, but we're present on this interview. But how did he feel, being a present in the book, but also along your journey?
He felt, I believe he felt, I mean, I can't speak for him, but just, looking back, he was proud of me and he was grateful that I asked for him to tell his perspective because, in all honesty, as we were going through this, I forgot about him. It was just me. I was just like, this is my failure. I'm going through this. And the Lord was like, check on your husband. And I was just like, oh, yeah. I never even considered that, hey, you're going through this too. Right. And so then the idea came up. The Lord gave me the idea to ask him his perspective. And I'll tell you, that's my favorite chapter because oftentimes we do forget about the husbands going through this because they're experiencing challenges too. But it felt not only like something, a goal that I accomplished, but it felt like we did this together. It's a purpose work.
Absolutely. I love it. And it's so unique. So I love that aspect about it. And it's such a personal touch to it. So hopefully when Asha gets a little bit older, she understands the significance of her very life. You know what I mean? And how much people loved her even before she was even here.
Yes.
So I just absolutely love that. So we have the book. I mean, we're talking back in 2018, 2019. What has happened since you've written the book? What is going on now with you, with your book, When Hope Speaks, your journey, things like that?
So much since the book was published. We did have a year or two later because whenever the book was published, we're in the middle of COVID or the beginning of COVID. So we had a book launch at a local bookstore, Fulton Street Books. Shout out to Onika.
Yeah.
Samoa Caesar. Our book is actually still in that bookstore. And so I'm very grateful for how Onika uses her influence to help bless local authors. So
Absolutely.
I'm grateful for that. Also, we're on Amazon. Actually, I've been talking about it again. This is the 4-year anniversary this month of the book being published. So we're celebrating with you and we're celebrating with us. So it's a celebration all around. Actually, I'm looking to make it an audiobook. So I'm getting ready to start recording.
Nice.
Um,
That's new.
Got some other ideas, like maybe writing some songs about, the book and then getting some merchandise. So, but as far as me, I actually have been a full-time entrepreneur for the past year. I recently started working for an education nonprofit, but we've got my business, the 9 to 5, and mom and wife, and all the other things on the side. So life is busy around here, but it's blessed. I'm grateful.
It is. Oh my goodness. So congratulations on 4 years.
Thank
Um,
you.
And you also had a couple of years later, after the book was released, outside of COVID, you did have a book launch
Hmm.
at the bookstore.
That's
So
right, the book launch.
yes, that was absolutely amazing. Just being there and seeing the support system that you have, and just hearing the stories, and just having people just love on you and buy the book and just share your story was such an amazing, huge accomplishment for you. So it's never too late. Even as the book gets older, you can always relaunch it. You can always, because you never know who knows your story. And I think as authors, we take it for granted that people know we have a book.
Hmm.
But you meet new people every day. So it's like you're reintroducing yourself. So you never know who needs it. So
Absolutely.
always have that, always have it available, always have it ready to share your story. And I personally have to do better as well. So I'm not just talking to you. I need to share
Oh
my books
no.
as well.
Yeah, I feel like having the book is an like a inflection point for other things, because having a book, and I was like, oh, I have a book, great, people are going to buy it. Like, no, first you got to tell them about it. Okay, how can you tell them about it? Well, it opens up other experiences. Maybe there's an organization who, serves women who have been through the same thing. Go speak, so it gives different things I've always wanted to do, but never thought, oh, this book is going to help do that. So it's
Yeah.
really been a blessing and a learning opportunity.
Absolutely. And when we're talking about your process from book coaching to now published author and just beyond, with
Hmm.
this just one book, Joseph's ministry has grown with you on this process. We started with book coaching, and that's actually how we got started as a company. I
Mm.
started with book coaching, and I think you were maybe one of my first groups, or maybe first or second group to go through book coaching, but that's how I got started
Mm.
as a company. That was our first service that we offered. So
Wow.
to see where we are now, and it's just developed over time, as the need comes and goes, you just flow with it. But
Yeah,
that's how I got started. And
that's
there's
beautiful.
a powerful time when you have book coaching, because you can really dive into individually for each book, and it's so unique. It's not cookie cutter, and you can just rinse and repeat. And for every book, it's totally different. So for the fact that the Lord was like, hey, Megan, you need to call Tara.
Yeah,
And you didn't reach
and you
out to me.
did.
So I want people to really get that. She didn't reach out to me. I reached out
No,
to her and said,
and I
hey,
was like, okay. Well, if the Lord says it's time, then it's time, right? And
and
I
it was,
remember making, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember whenever you said God told you to start a company, you was like, I,
oh,
I'm not, what have I done? And he was like, help people the way that, because she had published her own books already. So it's so interesting how God will have you do something, and then just turn that thing into a whole blessing. 10 years. It's been 10 years.
10. And the thing is, you never know who has what you need. Because I remember
Mm,
meeting you and your husband at church those years ago, had no idea. I didn't have a book then. I didn't think about art, having a company. I had no idea that we would become such friends, not even friends, family, but
yeah,
my company will help your company, and it's just been something that we didn't see,
at
because you
all.
never know who has what you need. And not only did my company, Joseph's Ministry, help you publish your book, you have referred so many people to Joseph's Ministry to do what we do. And that's a blessing. I mean, you just never know. As years go by, as you develop relationships with people and you meet people, you just never know. So it's always
Yeah,
wise to be kind to people. I
that's
always
so true.
be kind to people,
You
treat
never
people
know.
right, because you just never know
You
where
don't.
lines may cross and things like that. So it's been a beautiful journey.
Can I just say too that the reason why I refer so many people is because book coaching was literally a lifeline for me. There's so many people. Somebody might be watching tonight and they said I always wanted to write a book. A lot of times, not knowing what the next step is stops people for years. You see, you had to call me, but that book coaching was so pivotal and
Yeah.
so key for me to be able to do this. And now this is a realized dream. Not
Yeah.
only can I benefit and my family, but other people in their family, and that's just amazing to me.
Yeah.
So
And
thank you for being obedient.
no, absolutely. Thank God. But for you saying that, the confidence that I see in you today, and even in myself from back then to today, is amazing. And it's such a beautiful thing. And because we were both kind of like, well, we gonna see what the Lord gonna do. And
Right. Oh no.
you know, and he did it. But the confidence that we have now to say, hey, this is my lane.
Yes,
That's my lane. I own my story. I own my business. And that's a beautiful thing because it is an evolution. And I tell people, we didn't start off with this confidence. We didn't start off to where we are now. There was a showing up process.
yes,
And it's still a process now. But it's just like I always encourage people, and this is just evidence to just get started.
yeah,
That's it. Because
that's
if you
it.
don't get started, if you didn't get started, if you would have, took my call and took my text, and it's like, write a book, girl, you crazy. Hung up the phone. We wouldn't be here. People wouldn't be touched by your story. People wouldn't be helped. People would still be, praying for a solution, praying for an answer. And you had it all along
Mhm.
and you never
Wow,
used it.
that's deep. Yeah.
So I want that to be an encouragement for the people who are watching live and on the replay. So as we're ending, is there anything that you would like to leave with the people as an encouragement from your journey, or just anything that you want to leave as an encouragement to the people?
I think that I would was looking a lot of times for things that were outside of me to
Mhm.
try and people always say, "What's your purpose?" Or "My purpose is this." But oftentimes, what I've learned through this process and in life is that it's the things that you go through and the things that you already have inside. Like I, if you were to ask me what I want to write a book about having a 7 year journey of infertility, the answer would be unequivocally no. For what?
Right.
Right? But the way that God brought me, first of all, brought us through that process, and second, allowed us to use all those tears. Thank you, Lord, to help somebody else. It's just truly, truly, truly amazing. And so, I would just say that if you have the idea to do anything, but if you want to write a book, don't let not knowing what the next step is stop you. Reach out to Joseph's ministry, and whatever your aspiration is, like Megan just said, just start,
Yeah.
and you'll learn along the way. But know that whatever you're going through, if there's a desire there, there's somebody on the other end of that desire that needs to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. We are the solutions.
Mhm.
So thank you, Tara, so much for your life, for your story. We're excited to see what's next. Guys, we will put the link to Tara's book for purchase in the chat. So you continue to please support her as she is celebrating her 4 year anniversary. Super excited about that. But guys, we won't stop here. We will have other interviews. We will have other things to celebrate our 10 year anniversary. So please be on the lookout for it. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.